They've been working with Caltech since 2022, which has resulted in research paper, publication, and improvements to our disruptive behavior approach, which include reduced time to moderation enforcement as a result of Caltech's research contribution.
Let's get Caltech involved.
Genuinely
Please.
is insane that they get Caltech involved with toxic voice comms, but not players ruining the game. The actual ones ruining the game for everybody every single day when they're blatantly cheating.
That's the wrong program. I've got it. Here we go. Okay. We are live, boys and girls. We'll go with that. Welcome to the Dropshot Call of Duty podcast, episode number 465. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. Today, I'm joined by Tanner, and we actually have some stuff to talk about this week.
There's a few things.
A few things. Much unlike last week.
We were baited, but we've got some items.
Yeah. Largely bait items, so we will give you guys the download on that. Welcome to the show. So, yeah, today we have some stuff to talk about. Nothing too groundbreaking or substantial, to be honest, but some things you should keep in mind, whether you are playing the current game or you are counting down the 14 days until BO6 comes out, which you may be doing. So before we get into it, we will have some announcements at the end of the show. We got a couple new patrons. We got a little donation W for that. And then also we have the Rebirth tournament to talk about for all of our patrons. And
it's not a tournament.
It's not a tournament, which is, luckily I didn't say tournament. I said Rebirth Customs. So we'll talk about that a little bit for all of our patrons. And then I've received that comment. And then also the patron bonus episodes we have done and will be doing in the future. And by the way, I do not trust you with scissors near my body. I would get Edward Scissorhand did. So I've received that comm. Also, that's it, actually. Yeah, so stick around toward the end of the show for some in-depth announcements, but let's get right into this, starting with patch notes changes already in effect. So, as per usual, basically nothing happened here, sort of. One of the new aftermarket parts has officially released. And normally, which is kind of what we've been saying. Actually, to be fair, aftermarket parts in this game have essentially run the whole gamut, I think. We've had most of them be miserable and dog shit. And then we have some that are solid, viable, but not like strictly necessary attachments. I would put maybe the Jack BFB in this category, after a couple of the nerfs it had eventually gotten, though maybe not after all of the nerfs it had gotten. I think they probably went a little too far. I'd put the paracord grip in this category. I would put the Horus conversion kit in this category. But the one we got now is a new shotgun, basically. By the way, if you're watching live, my internet is not doing well right now. So
yeah, I wasn't sure if that was me or not. It did a little freeze.
Yeah, we may or may not continually cut out throughout the rest of this broadcast. If that happens and you're seething about it, I'm recording it on my end and also obviously to upload it. So you can just listen to it later or just watch the uploaded video version. There won't be any cuts in that because it's obviously recording locally. So sorry about that. But anyways, what I was saying is basically we've had a bunch of new aftermarket parts. Some have been terrible, some have been decent, some have been grossly overpowered, and that's what it looks like we've gotten this week. So The Jack Voltstorm, which kills in one shot up to 7.3 meters in Warzone on a full health opponent, by the way. 2-shot kill after that, and it stops doing any damage for after 8 meters. So kind of another memer gun, but annoying enough to where you may or may not have to use it. Now, I suspect this is going to be nerfed quite soon because getting one-tapped in Warzone, everyone hates that. However, we've also had the dual reclaimers one-tapping people for the last 6 weeks minimum, so I actually don't really know what's going to go on.
The
with
reclaimers
this.
are more overpowered, yeah. Because this you have to charge. It's not like you just immediately shoot. You got to charge it up.
Right.
Got to do a little jump start on it. So there's clips of it making it look really good, but in reality, like, you want a static or even the shotguns pretty much every time.
The reclaimers, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. But it's kind of interesting. It seems busted OP for multiplayer, actually. I did see some shipment clips of it. People getting like 3 kills with 1 charge with it. So, yeah, seems a little busted there, but
yeah,
it's interesting for sure.
It's one of those things. Kind of a meme. I've talked about this a lot, and I feel this way about actually the dual reclaimers, and to a lesser extent this, because they're not as good, like Tanner just said. I agree. But it's very frustrating when there is a gun that is really good, but in a very narrow range. So like so the reclaimers, you're just guaranteed to lose to them inside of whatever it is, 3 to 5 meters. Doesn't matter what you are using unless you're also using the shotguns. You auto die up close, up very close. But so then you would say, okay, well, then you should just use the reclaimers, Raz. Here's the problem though. They're terrible at like 10 meters and beyond. I mean, pick the exact number, but they're only really good, really very close. And outside of that range, you're going to get pissed on by basically everything. Certainly a static or some other quasi meta SMG. So it's kind of a like screwed if you do, screwed if you don't situation, where if I do use the reclaimers, I don't auto die to other people using them when I'm inside of them. But then yeah, I just get torched at like 10 meters if I have them out. So that's annoying. But then if I don't run them and I do run into them at 3 meters, I'm instantly dead and there's no hope of me winning. Very cringe and annoying. And it's amazing to me that they have not nerfed them yet. Much to many players' chagrin, that is the case. And yeah, Tanner guessed they would be nerfed this week because, surprisingly, they've been overpowered for as long as they've existed, as long as the aftermarket part came out. But this was like weeks and weeks ago. And very seldom is something OP and it's not instantly being abused. But for whatever reason, that was in fact the case with the reclaimer aftermarket part, because they came out, they were overpowered because they had the same stats then as they do right now, but no one was using them. And then every week after week, they have been getting more and more common, more and more frustratingly. I can't really explain why that's the case, because usually, again, when something overpowered comes out, it's immediately being abused. Like the
Didn't
DTIR,
they get a little buff recently,
example.
though? I think they got a buff recently.
Did they get a buff recently?
I think they did, man.
That's possible. I don't recall it, but I don't have the greatest memory, as some of you may know.
Well, especially when it comes to the weapon changes, I mean. It's hard to remember all of that.
A bunch of tiny little ones, yeah.
I thought they did, though.
I don't recall it, but it's possible. Reclaimer. But
maybe not.
If they hadn't been buffed since their release, which I still don't think they have been, my guess as to why it wasn't being abused instantly is because they're annoying to use, because they're hip fire only, and most players play with auto tac sprint on controller. And it is annoying to use shotguns with that. So that's probably why. But regardless, they've still not been nerfed, and they are definitely common enough to be in need of a nerf. So hopefully hopefully 2 shotguns that are, you know, one-tapping people. Little technical difficulty here. Okay, can you hear me, Tanner?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Just keep going. It'll be fine for the recording. Our
Yeah,
live
whatever.
viewers don't matter.
Yeah, our live viewers don't matter. That's true, except the 3 gentlemen that have subscribed. Anyways, whatever. I don't know. I don't remember what I was saying. It keeps tilting me, but yeah. Hopefully now that there are 2 one-shot shotguns in Warzone, they will have enough attention such that both of them will be nerfed soon.
Yeah,
but who knows? We'll see. So, anyway.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah. So moving on from that, oh boy, we've had some news.
Is this a Ricochet blog post about the cheating? What is this?
News and upcoming changes. So there is which I have not read, a new blog post.
Let's see.
Written by Call of Duty staff.
Oh, it said something about moderation results. Okay, so it must be about the cheaters.
Yeah, certainly. And this was released today, in fact. And cheaters have been running absolutely rampant in this game since the launch of the new season and before. So surely any article written by Call of Duty staff will be about cheaters and what they plan to do about them, because they are running amok. So let's read the title. Oh, oops, anti-toxicity / disruptive behavior progress report. Okay. So this is the least important possible thing they could be working on.
We won't be reading it. Yeah, we won't be reading any of this. It doesn't matter.
I'm going to read a couple select excerpts
God, it pisses me off.
Just to inform you on what the devs and what Call of Duty find a pressing issue when people are running around blatantly cheating in every game mode and also using grossly overpowered unfun guns like the Reclaimer. This is what's their priority. Neither of those things, spoiler alert. Findings from in-game text and voice moderation systems. BO6 moderation on day 1. And then a lot of yapping about making sure people can't have wild TOS comms or names. Hey!
No, we have to read the first sentence, actually. Yeah.
Okay, I'll read the first sentence. The Call of Duty team is dedicated to fostering a positive and welcoming community for all players.
Shut up, man. Just shut up. Oh my god. Bring back bullying, please.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I want these devs bullied so fucking hard. God.
You know what?
Extremely hard, really.
You know what doesn't foster a positive and welcoming community for all players?
What?
People putting bounties on streamers in ranked Warzone so that they, as cheaters, wall hackers and aimbotters, and all other cheaters and wall hackers and aimbotters, hunt them and stream snipe them and try to ruin their SR by blatantly cheating. That doesn't seem to foster a positive nor welcoming community either.
Yeah, that's true.
In fact, I would venture to say I'd be a little more tilted if I died to a cheater for my 3rd game in a row, which has happened in Season 6, by the way, much more than being called some bog-trotting drunk Mick or something, or any other racial epithet you can concoct. It's much more annoying when people are cheating. Just put the little asterisks like you do. You already disallowed me from disabling your profanity filter. Just keep that up.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not that hard. And you have AI deep learning language models now that are spying on people using PlayStation voice. Why not just do something like that if you want to just invade my privacy? But wait, you don't want to invade privacy. That's why there's not, in fact, a kernel level anti-cheat. I hate all of it. I hate all of it. I hate all of it. And I hate specifically Call of Duty. The publisher, the dev teams, the fact that they spent any time writing this garbage pisses me off lots. Oodles.
Yeah.
Heaps.
Well, welcoming community for all players. That must include the cheaters, huh, buddy?
It must include the cheaters, I guess. Yeah, so that's really cool. So they yap about voice and text moderation in BO6.
Yeah. God damn
I will be expeditiously moderated for voice chat in
also,
BO6
don't forget,
multiplayer.
when was it that everyone was getting voice chat banned? Was that the launch of MW 2 or MW 3? I mean, tons of people in our Discord. It's happened to everybody. You don't even speak on your mic and you'll get a voice chat ban for like a week or two.
That's correct.
Somebody's like, I don't even have a microphone plugged in. I've never talked to anybody. And now I can't hear random teammates talk because I've been prox banned. I've been voice chat banned in Call of Duty. Got it. God, it's such a bad system.
Miserable
All of it's
system.
just bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Really bad and not good. So anyways, that's it. That's all they talk about. Exposure to voice toxicity dropped 43%. What? I also want to know what constitutes toxicity, because this is, after all, a mass murder homicide simulator, right? I mean, you design a loadout with fully automatic rifles with the express purpose of mowing down other players. Yeah. I mean, it is the most violent, worst thing you can do to another human being, probably, is sending 45 ACP careening through their skull. That's the goal of the game. But people playing this are too thin-skinned to handle someone saying, you got shit on? Okay, I've received that comm. It's just so absurd. It defies logic and reason, which is why the Call of Duty devs, of course, are doing it. Because they're stupid and bad. And their anti-cheat doesn't work. Stupid, dumb idiots. Yeah. So this pisses me off, as Tanner correctly pointed out. And we won't be reading it to you any further, but that's the whole thing. They're basically just masturbatorily talking about how good they are at stopping people from saying mean words on the internet. Okay. Got it.
Oh my God. Wait. Oh, I remember talking about this. They've been working with Caltech since 2022, which has resulted in research paper publication and improvements to our disruptive behavior approach, which include reduced time to moderation enforcement as a result of Caltech's research contribution.
Let's get Caltech involved.
Genuinely,
please.
Genuinely is insane that they get Caltech involved with toxic voice comms, but so not players ruining the game. The actual ones ruining the game for everybody every single day when they're blatantly cheating. Yeah. I mean, they like to say how what did they say at the start? They're fostering a positive and welcoming
community.
It's like, dude, you guys, you've ruined everything, because these kids now, these low-skilled players, are so used to getting destroyed by actual cheaters that they're all so stupid now, and they think every person that streams on Twitch is just cheating. If somebody has TTV in their name, they're going to be cheating. They've ruined that for the player base because they don't do enough about the cheating problem. So it's just rampant, and then everyone, and then they've fostered this horrible community now because everyone's like, oh, this guy's cheating. He's a streamer.
Yeah, Bad Boy Beeman was created by Activision.
Definitely cheating, you know, because he was permabanned, and permabans are never false. Hey, we know a guy personally who was permabanned. Guess what? He got his whole fucking account back 6 or 8 months later.
Yeah, he did. Shout out to
MP. And he was permanently banned. Hey, he got it back. They make mistakes, certainly.
Yeah, good point.
So, it's dumb.
Yeah, it's obscene, actually. Yeah.
Bully all the devs. Partially too. They
need to, like ruthlessly, and commit felonies while you do it. I'm talking about bodily injury. Yeah. And I'm dead serious. I'm joking, YouTube. Hopefully the AI doesn't see video. Anyway, yeah, so I hate them so much.
Looking for COD Next invites for next year.
Yeah, looking for a COD Next invite, by the way. I certainly wouldn't bring Molotov cocktails. Definitely not. So, or improvised explosive devices. So anyways, that pisses me off. It pisses us all off. It should anyway, because this is just a gross failure to understand what your priorities ought to be as a game dev. But okay, man. And we were expecting, by the way, a ban wave going into season 6, because the cheaters were really bad toward the end of season 5, actually.
Yeah.
And we just didn't get one. No Ricochet blog post jerking themselves off. And obviously no ban wave, because the cheaters are worse than ever right now. So I've received that. And by the way, if you guys want to see people getting mad about cheaters, shout out to friend of the pod, Bay. He's like 12 years old, but he's really good and he plays ranked a lot. And what's his actual Twitch called? Oh, let me do a proper. I think it's. What is it?
I'm Bay TTV, I think, isn't it? I think he has the classic TTV in
yes,
his name on
it's
Twitch.
I am BAETTV on Twitch. Yeah, so you guys can go watch his VOD of him playing ranked last, and dude, his teammates are just like seething because everyone's cheating because they're like Crimson Iridescent, so they're like in that like second tier of lobbies, which is the highest tier, and it's just game after game after game after game of cheaters, and watching them slowly, their sanity slowly unravel as they just spiral down the drain through basically no fault of their own, because you would have to be a Tibetan monk with like 20 years of experience to try and queue ranked for that long with that many cheaters and not tilt. But it's really funny to watch their dismay. I also posted a screen cap of one of his streams in quality memes. It's really funny. You guys should just go look at it. I'm not gonna describe it, but anyways, shout out to Bay and shout out to Activision being just outside of their minds. So moving on from that, we had gotten some little teasers, I guess, from some official source that there was going to be a bunch of info drops about BO6 this week. And that was somewhat exciting. And then we got the info drops, and it was just a bunch of campaign lore, basically, which, okay, don't care. And we won't be covering it. So I haven't even read it.
They put out like 3 different blog posts, and it's literally just strictly about the lore of the campaign, when it takes place, who is involved. It's a big, giant do not care at all. Yeah, just don't care. There are some rewards for playing it, but it's just calling cards, emblems, weapon skins,
operator skins. Yeah.
It's the stuff that will be cool for like the first 2 weeks of the game, and then once skins start coming out, seasons come out, none of that will matter anymore. So,
yep.
I mean, if you want to play the campaign for that stuff, go ahead. But I will not be playing the campaign at all, probably.
Yeah, and I think one good thing is going to come out of them not doing the campaign early access like they had done have done for the last 2 years, in that their analytics almost certainly are going to show far fewer players play the campaign if you don't do early access. So
I'm sure
if you're like particularly salty we didn't get the campaign a week early like we have for the last 2 years, then just don't play it ever this year, because they want people to play their campaign. So that will incentivize them next year to once again allow us to play it early. But I'm not doing it on principle. I'm doing it because I genuinely will never have interest in playing it unless it's the only thing I can play. So, you know, that's going to be the case for a lot of people. But so you can get whatever. I think it might also give you some XP tokens, perhaps, which I guess is kind of cool, but I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't be worth the time. It wouldn't make up for the time you're wasting playing campaign to get whatever 3 hours of double weapon XP tokens when you have to play the campaign for probably 8 hours to get all of those, and you could have just been playing for 8 hours of multiplayer, which would be more than the effective 6 hours of XP you would get from that. So yeah, and I'd love to give Jake another 10 for saying it should be required.
Yeah, he's
so just keep that in mind. But we also got some more driving. At least in my case, very fun and exciting news about BO6. This is something we already knew we were going to get, but now we have more details on it. So I'm going to start by showing you guys this clip that was tweeted this morning by Call of Duty. They say, "There goes the neighborhood. Nuketown comes to BO6 on November 1st. Woo! And we have a little video here for you. It's 19 seconds long. I'm going to play it. It says game engine footage on the bottom. I have not seen this yet. I don't really care too much, but let's watch it together real quick. So some cute little 50s music, little 50s
Great
car.
Music. Oh no. Oh my god, are they dropping a nuke on it?
And it's, yeah, I mean,
Oh
it's
my
very
God,
cinematic,
they
doesn't
did.
tell us very much. Welcome to Nuketown, November 1st. And that's the video. So, you barely see any of the map, but we pretty much already know what Nuketown looks like anyway, so that's fine. One thing I am a little bit, tiny bit concerned about is all the haziness. Now, that could be just a part of the cinematic trailer to signify that it's like,
off,
like Nuketown or whatever.
Yeah.
But hopefully that radiation haze or whatever that is in that video does not stay on the map for the actual playable game.
No, I'm sure. I'm expecting it to be like the first 2 seconds of the video before the nuke goes off. It'll probably just be sunny. There's no like snow or anything. It looks like a very plain and normal version of Nuketown. Just it looks like a classic Nuketown, basically.
Yeah.
Looks clean.
Yeah. And then we also got this tweet from Treyarch, also this morning. Bring your sunscreen. Nuketown, November 1st, 24. 11/01/24 is what I should say, which is, of course, the American way to tell a date. So that's good. And it's the worst picture I've ever seen. Just to be clear. I mean, this tells me nothing. But
yeah.
I mean, whatever, it's fine. So this is great because we knew we were getting Nuketown. We didn't know when. Tanner and I have speculated on that multiple times. And I am very pleased that it will be inside of 7 days after launch.
Yeah.
Or not quite. It'll be 8 days after launch. That's fantastic news. Hopefully we get a Nuketown 24/7 playlist in conjunction with that. We might not, because they might.
No,
you think
certainly
so?
They will. Of course.
I hope so.
Here's my black helicopter theory. Nuketown wasn't supposed to launch this early. Everyone has been complaining about how atrocious the maps looks. They're like, we better put Nuketown out early. Because they're right, it won't matter. The maps do all look awful. 7 days into the life cycle, I won't play another map again. I'll be on Nuketown 24/7. Because unlike Shipment 24/7, Nuketown 24/7 is a large enough map to not be completely horrible like Shipment. So I can play that 24/7. So that's what I'll be doing personally. So the maps just won't matter after a week for me.
Yes, I totally agree. That's something we've said before, and I'll be happy about it. So that's really cool. Yeah. Hopefully it's a 24/7 playlist. If it's not right away, it would be soon. But I think you're probably right. Actually,
it certainly will be. Yeah.
I think
there's no way
right
to do
away.
that and make people have to get lucky and get it.
Yeah, that's probably true. So that's really cool. And November 1st is really awesome. Now I do wonder if that implies season 1 will also start November 1st. Because we've historically been having like the game launching, and that's like season 0. And then they launch season 1 a couple weeks after the launch of the game. So I do wonder if adding Nuketown on the 1st will be concurrent with them dropping season 1. I could see it happening. I could also see that not happening. I don't really know, but something to think about, because it would be kind of weird on a random Saturday or whatever it'll be. Yeah, Friday, for them to just drop Nuketown and like that's it. I don't know. That seems kind of odd. Not outside of the realm of possibility, but kind of odd. So it's maybe something to consider. But
yeah.
Anyway. Moving on from that, we have a couple other tweets from Charles Intelligence. Also related to BO6. And this is about zombies. And some other things, but mostly zombies.
So this info here, this all came from the COD Pod, the official COD podcast, which is of course the #1 Call of Duty podcast in the world, and you guys should listen to that instead of us.
Well, hold on.
But so all of this info came from there.
Dropshot does not condone that message.
So all this information came from that episode. They didn't put this anywhere in a blog, which I think is a bad way to do this. But Charlie Intel tweets about it, so we have that at least. But yeah, they didn't tweet about this or anything themselves. This is just all from the podcast they had. That I guess they uploaded today or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So luckily, Charlie Intel went through the labor of listening to them yap, because every clip I've had the displeasure of seeing of the official COD pod, we've been doing it for far longer than they have, by the way, has been grating and kind of embarrassing and giving me secondhand cringe, frankly.
Is it embarrassing listening to a COD podcast for you?
No, it's that COD podcast because they try to do like the, I don't know, the lighthearted banter or whatever sometimes, or to make little jokes, but they're trying to be like PC about it. They're also not very good at it. It's not very funny. It's very contrived and it's very embarrassing. Yeah. From the little I've seen, to be fair, I have not seen a whole episode. Maybe someday I'll get into that. I won't. But from what I've seen, very contrived and very embarrassing. Yeah. But hey, that's fine. Anyway, like I said, luckily Charlie Intel went through the labor of listening to that. So we will pick everything important that was said up from Charles's Twitter. So first tweet here. New Treyarch confirms they've heard feedback on BO6 Zombies map Liberty Falls. The map will have changes to the tone and look to feel more zombie-like and atmosphere changes. Okay, that's pretty wild that they would onboard that feedback from people's impressions of seeing some people play a very small part of the map for like an hour before having played it themselves.
Well, they're basing this off COD Next feedback.
Yeah. I guess they played for what, 2 hours maybe, but like
a lot of people didn't like Liberty Falls is what they had been talking about during all that.
My point is a lot of people were saying they didn't like Liberty Falls based on them having only watched other people playing it at COD Next. I feel like that isn't and this is what we had said, this might not be a good representative of what that map will actually play like for real zombies players who get deep into that shit. Now, maybe that's not true, but I do agree what we did see of Liberty Falls at COD Next was a bit lacking or disappointing. I don't know exactly what it was, but like Terminus Island just seems infinitely more immersive to me. So regardless, whether or not that was a good representation of what Liberty Falls will end up playing like, it is cool that they are supposedly going to change the tone and look to feel more zombies like. I don't really know what that entails, but Treyarch will listen to player feedback, I think more so than any of the big three studios. So I totally believe them when they say this. And cool. I mean, I can't imagine they're going to make it worse by doing these changes. So I think this is ultimately a good thing, but not anything I was super concerned about myself, frankly.
Yeah. I just hope they don't kill the vibe of it too much. We'll read the next one first because they kind of talk about it again.
Okay, so next tweet here. Updates for BO6 Liberty Falls, directly from COD Pod. Liberty Falls that everyone saw.
By the way, that was from us. They got that information.
Yeah, correct. Liberty Falls that everyone saw at COD Next was a work in progress. The Zombies team has continued to iterate on Liberty Falls. Why not let them play Terminus Island then? Because that looked super done from the blog post, but whatever. Visual tone and look and feel are now a bit moodier. And please get a new writer now. That's not how you spell moodier at all. Quote, MOODY-ER. Hey man, there's a word for that. IER. And that was really bad, but whatever. Than what people saw at COD Next. There are atmospheric elements that people did not see at COD Next. And Liberty Falls is meant to be smaller and more casual compared to Terminus. I think maybe what the Treyarch devs, what their mistake had been, sounds like they agree with that feedback. So even if it wasn't fair, like I was speculating it might not have been, it probably was fair because the Treyarch devs clearly agree with the feedback. So It sounds like the mistake they made was that they were equating a casual map with a sunshiny day Alanis Morissette song map or something. You can still have the map be way more casual compared to Terminus Island by having fewer and easier Easter eggs, fewer and less difficult enemy types, a smaller map, fewer obstacles to get to the pack-a-punch machine and the workbench or whatever. Those are good things to make a map more casual. But you can do all of that without making the atmosphere less spooky and zombie-like. And I think it sounds like that's what they're going to be addressing before launch. So that's good.
Yeah, it kind of just sounds like they're making it... I mean, so like maybe the vibe that I liked was kind of just how it feels like the zombie apocalypse just started to happen, and so the town is still mostly intact. Well, you know, it's like there were military trucks and stuff, like they tried to set up barricades and whatnot, didn't really work. So I like that vibe. So it kind of just seems to me like, one, they're probably going to change the skybox a little bit, like maybe to early morning, late in the evening, so it's not just bright and sunny, which would be, I guess, okay with me. I mean, why not just have it sunny? That's kind of what I'm getting from this. And then maybe they're just going to put more detail in to make it seem a little bit more zombie-like rather than looking similar to a multiplayer map or something. But
yeah,
you know, I mean, even like I'm thinking Cold War Zombies, that one snow map, like the first zombie map that you start on, that doesn't feel or look like a zombies map, does it? It was just Outbreak? A normal snow map. No. Cold War round-based zombies. Like the very first zombie map we had, it was just snow. What was that map called?
I don't even remember it, bro.
It was like the main one we played. That was literally the main map we played.
I don't know. I get what you're saying, though. Like, a lot of them don't feel
like that doesn't feel or look like a zombies map either.
Like a Resident Evil game. Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. Yeah. What was I going to say? One thing you had pointed out at COD Next, Tanner, which I actually ended up really agreeing with as we had watched more of it. I don't know if I mentioned it, though. Is that I really didn't like on Liberty Falls how many buildings there were that you could not enter.
That was infuriating.
So they just ended up being these like very awkward facades that really take you out of the experience. It really feels like an arcade game, not like an arcade style FPS. I mean a literal 1995 walk into an arcade and play a game. Like, why are there so many of these buildings that are just facades? That really takes you out of it. Probably more than anything. And what I had said originally was, well, maybe it's just because they're on round whatever 10 and they'll be able to like access these somehow, some way later. Turns out that is not true. So I think that's another part that I dislike a lot compared to what we know about Terminus Island. And unfortunately, that will not be changing. They are not going to add whole playable areas inside of these buildings that weren't intended to be played inside of. So, I don't know. We'll see. There's always going to be a better and worse map in any game, in any game mode. So, like, everyone's going to have their favorite zombies map, regardless. They're going to like one more than another. And maybe for most people, that's going to be Terminus Island over Liberty Falls. That's okay. But it's cool that they're going to be making improvements. So
yeah, I'm excited to see what it is. It is, yeah. I mean, generally the people that played at COD Next did not seem to think super highly of it. Like the zombies players or just the normal multiplayer Warzone players that were there, seems like nobody loved it, surprisingly. So I'm glad that they're making changes, because if all those people really gave that feedback, then it's probably accurate and they should make those changes. You know, unlike what Absolute said in chat, it's better than what Infinity Ward does with player feedback. True.
Yeah, where
So I
they
think they did
acknowledge
get
it
this
and then tell you to go fuck yourself. Yeah.
Yeah,
Shout out
like,
to Infinity Ward.
we see all of you hate Liberty Falls, but we think it's fine, so we're gonna leave it. Yeah, that's what Infinity
You guys will
Ward
learn
do.
to like it, I guess. And then they throw up their hands and never talk about it again. Yeah, shout out to Infinity Ward.
Yeah.
I mean, just so... Anyway, let's not. So we have some other tweets, which are, again, little nuggets of intel from the COD pod. Got it. Activision says... A, quote, few of the HUD elements in Zombies are also getting touched up, end quote, based on feedback and official details. Based on feedback and official details on the changes will be shared soon ahead of BO6's launch. So that would be cool. I would love to see some more official details on what all of these zombie changes will entail before the launch of the game. I expect that to happen since they said it. Yeah.
This is cool. Like it. Oh wait, which one did you just read? The HUD or the in-game events one?
The one that starts with new, Activision says.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, that one. Okay, yeah, they make changes to the HUD. Yeah. I don't remember. Were there things wrong with the HUD? Did we ever?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think about.
That?
I don't know. I don't recall anything.
Yeah. Okay.
I might have had issues with it, but it didn't. Obviously, it didn't impress upon me very much. So, but again, like, I have enough faith in Treyarch to where I'm not afraid that they're going to make something cool and then fuck it up by trying to make it better.
Yeah.
I do have that concern strongly with Infinity Ward. We've seen them do it all the time, where they release something, is pretty good, and then they just piss, shit, and fart all over it. By trying to make it better, they actually make it fantastically worse. But Treyarch does not have a track record, really, of doing that. So if they want to make it even better, then fine. So that's cool. So next thing here, Activision also says on the COD pod that BO6 Zombies will have, quote, have more support for in-game events, end quote, compared to previous Zombies experiences. I don't know what that means at all.
So I'm kind of taking it as like how we have a bunch of in-game events now for multiplayer and Warzone. Kind of sounds like we'll get specific Zombies in-game events now.
Something
where it's
like a fire sale, you mean?
No.
Okay, then go ahead.
No. Like the events like we get now where it's like the rewind event or whatever that we have in like Warzone right now. Just the events that are literally going on every minute that you play the game. Like open a chest and get the skulls for this and that. Yeah, I think what they mean is they're going to do a lot more zombie-specific events like that where you can probably earn weapon camos that are probably cool and going to be animated and stuff like that for, you know, completing these in-game events.
Okay. Yeah. Because my first thought was, like in Warzone, there are in-game events. In-match events, such as a fire sale, the strongholds open, the loadout crates dropping out of planes, the cash drops. I think those are the four. There might be another event or two I'm not thinking of. That's another way I could interpret that sentence, but I think Tanner's probably more likely correct. That's what that means, which is cool because, yeah, like, I don't know if that trick-or-treat thing is even in Zombies. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably is. And, well, are there boxes? Well, I actually don't know. But Zombies is ass, so.
Shit's ass 100, yeah.
Yeah, shit's ass 100 emoji 100 times. So, that's cool. Whatever that means, it's good, frankly. Whatever way you can take that. So, next here, Activision confirms on the COD pod that another new round-based Zombies map will arrive for BO6 before the end of the year. That's pretty surprising, actually.
Yeah.
And
it is, man. I did not expect this. So we'll be getting a third round-based Zombies map less than 2 months after the game's launch. That's pretty dope. I wasn't fully expecting that. So that'll probably come Season 1 Reloaded, maybe? Something like that.
Yeah.
So that's very exciting that we're already going to have 3 round-based maps.
That's really cool.
Because that'll be the perfect amount of time, I think, to play both maps, learn what you like, learn what you don't, and then you're already getting a third one at that point. So that's really good. Didn't fully expect it to come that early. Love that.
Yeah.
Massive, honestly.
Pretty fantastic, for sure.
Zombies in Nuketown. What more does a guy need?
Amen, brother.
Game.
That's what I always say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I'll at least have a game mode in Call of Duty that I can hopefully somewhat reliably go to when they have allowed the cheaters to reach a critical mass and not excised them for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks on end. Yeah. That'll be cool. Or on Sundays, because Sundays are notoriously the sweatiest days ever in Warzone. So,
meh.
Got it. I've always had perfect audio, and aim assist isn't overpowered. So last thing here from Charlie Until from the COD Pod. BO6 will not have weekly event challenges like MW3, Activision says in the COD podcast. It will have seasonal events and challenges for rewards. The studio team is working on something very, very cool for rewards for seasonal challenges with info to come. So it sounds like we are almost certainly getting a blog post dedicated to zombies next week before BO6 launch.
Yeah, at least hopefully we'll get a blog post that matters this time. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, if it entails all these promises, it will. Entail. I've been using that word too much today, so anyway.
Yeah, we'll probably start getting some of it next week, and then even just the week of launch, we'll probably get a lot of info. That's probably where we'll get camo grind info and stuff a few days leading up to the game. So zombies would make sense next week, but... Yeah, so not too sure about that, the no weekly event challenges. We'll have to see if the seasonal events and challenges, if they give us a lot more, so it's more for people to grind for, then I would say it's fine. But it does seem a little weird they're removing the weekly event.
And what they mean by weekly event challenges is like the 5 things you have to do to unlock an aftermarket part, right? That's what this means? Like you can do that in Warzone multiplayer or zombies right now.
That's what I took it as.
Yeah, that's what I think that means. So I think that's fine. I don't know how many people use zombies to do that, especially this year, but I don't really care if we miss out on that. And especially if we get something better to replace it. I'm fine with that. But yeah. So
give me rewards. Reward me for playing your atrocious video game.
Reward me for suffering through all the cheaters you insist on allowing to play your video game.
Nobody's calling me slurs, so that's good. I so badly wish there was a super slur against whites. Somebody needs to create a super slur against white people.
A giga slur.
Huh? I would rather be called that giga slur 100 times a day rather than run into one cheater a month. Yeah, God, that would make me so happy if I was just getting slurred upon in prox chat all day long.
If that, whatever. I mean, actually, no matter what, I agree with you. That would be hilarious. And especially if I could take that instead of cheaters in this game, that would be fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway. All right. That's it. Got a couple announcements for you boys and also girls. We got some new patrons. Welcome to Liam C. Woo! Our newest gold patron. Welcome aboard, King. We appreciate ya. And you are a grown man because you have a profile picture with what appears to be a child who I'm hoping is your son rather than a kidnap victim from your local park. Liam, welcome aboard. Big giant dog. We appreciate that. Our newest gold patron. We also got a little upgrader going from gold to platinum. Damon F. I don't think your name is real, but just in case, I won't dox it. Damon, welcome aboard, King. Enjoy that extra little bonus ep and that cute platinum name in the cord. We appreciate you, big dog. Also, long time friend of the pod, giga long time listener, one of our longest time listeners, actually. British, unfortunately, which is a significant mark against him, but otherwise, great guy. Cam Wilkes has gone from something to annual Damascus patron, a king, a god, and a Chad. Welcome back, Kill a Cam, we love you. Good to have you around, buddy. And great job going annual and saving yourself 12 or 16%, whatever the number is. I'll never remember it. And then also Distortion, making the most fiscally responsible play of this week, has upgraded from monthly gold straight to the top, just catapulting himself into the Damascus Lounge, going annual. Wow. Damascus. Bro is him. I did just get the email, by the way, like 20 minutes ago.
Did you?
Yeah, I don't know why. Shout out to Patreon. But Distortion, welcome to the lounge. Big dog, great to have you here. And great work saving that 12 or 16% for going annually. Once again, we'll never remember. Now, speaking of the Patreon, which you can find at patreon.com/thedropshot, of course, we've done 2 bonus eps this month thus far. We've done our Patreon Q&A about all kinds of goofy stuff that we released, I believe, 2 or 3 days ago. And then we've also done our behind the scenes episode, which I think was particularly interesting this month. And that came out 2 or 1 days ago.
Came out some days ago.
Yeah. So those are both live for our Platinum and Damascus patrons, respectively. And then as far as COD-related, normal, every patron bonus episodes, we got 3 more coming down the pike, and not sure what they're going to be on quite yet. Certainly one will be post-launch of BO6, in which we talk about BO6. But we will almost certainly be doing 2 other ones prior to the launch of BO6. Hopefully we can do one on what we learn about BO6 maybe next week, maybe about zombies. And then another one we'll almost certainly do relating to the death rattles of this game that we have the supreme displeasure of being forced to play still. Yeah, so keep that in mind. We also got a donation from a patron who has gotten like 50 kills in Warzone by using all the tricks, by the way, but still hard to get 50 kills no matter what. He says, I can do it. He says, take this, shit stains. Got it. Greetings, LAX, who is of course from LAX, aka Lars. And this guy does not speak, or no, he does speak English, obviously, but not when he's gaming, apparently. Because he said, oh yeah, you can see the VOD, but you won't understand anything because I speak Dutch or whatever. Yeah,
he's something.
Whatever language that's wrong, because it's not American, it's standardized English. But, however, I will take that, because what we were given, of course, was, luckily for us, 50 greenbacks, which is United States dollars. Woo!
Good old American dollars. I like that.
Yeah. Yep. Bro converted it, and we appreciate that. LAX, you are a king, a gentleman, and also a scholar. And I am assuming you're Dutch because I only know one other person named Lars, who is, of course, Lars Ulrich, the so-called drummer for the band Metallica, who is Dutch. So I'm assuming you're Dutch. You're Dutch now, actually, because if you're not American, it doesn't really matter what you are or what I call you. What I will say is, thank you very much, dude. 50 bucks, a lot of money, and we really appreciate it. And that was very kind of you, and I will take that. And I am a shit stain. So thank you very much, King. And congrats again on the 50 bomb. That's insane. Yeah. And that's it. So that's actually not it. As a reminder, before we go, this Saturday, MW3 A Year in Review. It's going to be a Giga special episode that is going to be both fun and also exciting. Have not done a year in review in at least 2 years. So, or at least 1 year. No, at least 2 years, which is what I said. And it's going to be fun. I'm actually quite excited to do that episode because, as we've been hinting, at least in my case, I think in Tanner's as well, MW3 was a largely very successful year for us in terms of the enjoyment of the video game. Genuinely good year. It had some downsides, which we will absolutely get into on Saturday. But unlike the exercise in masochism that MW 2 was, there are actually a couple of good things, quite a few good things to say about it. So I'm really excited for that. And we're doing that on Saturday. And then next Saturday, so the 19th, I believe, we will be doing, for every patron we have, Rebirth Island Customs and not a tournament.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be really fun. Surprisingly, much to my pleasant surprise, there was not too much super stacking last time. So hopefully we can keep that up. We can be gentlemen if we're very good at the game. And you know who you are. Most of you do. Some of you are under the illusion that you're really good at the game. And you also know who you are. Or you probably don't know who you are, actually. But there are many of you. But many of you also do know how good you are. And you weren't super stacking last time. And you won't be doing it again this time. So it's going to be a fun...
They did a good job last time.
They did. I genuinely was shocked. Stacking was at a minimum, and therefore it was a very fun and exciting little Rebirth Customs sesh. We will be doing that again. I, of course, will be super stacking, but I'm the God Emperor of the Discord, as is my right. So you guys are going to get completely shit slammed by the Apex Fly Digi 4, which I have, and you guys don't. But it's going to be fun. So if you want to come participate, all you have to do is be a patron at any tier prior to Saturday the 19th, probably around 5 p.m. Pacific time. And make sure you link your Patreon and Discord accounts so that you can join the appropriate Discord channels from which we will organize these customs that are not a tournament. So it's going to be fun. That's absolutely it. Thank you for watching and listening. And we'll see you Saturday.
Yeah.
Stay humble.
See you Saturday. Stay humble.